So today we're going to be checking out a brand new Steam Deck dock that I received. It's by a company named Syntech. For those of you that want to play on a TV or monitor, we're going to go ahead and look at its design and its features. Let's get right into it. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Syntech for sending over this dock and allowing me to cover it on the channel. This is a fairly small channel, and any collaborations are very much appreciated. Here is your traditional Steam Deck dock. You get your ports in the back, and you get your Ethernet port on the side. This is pretty much what most of them look like, and you got your little cable to plug it in up top, right? But the Syntech dock, as you can tell, changes things up in the design department as it is round. As far as packaging goes, this packaging for a simple dock is actually pretty official. They even got the "thank you for choosing us" on the side with a little heart, and all the information we need about this dock. The brand is Syntech. The model number is SYNM050. Synmo 50. Out of the box, you pretty much get the dock itself, and they even included these little thumbstick grips in orange that have textures on top, and they actually feel really nice in game. I had no idea these were going to be included, so it was like a complete surprise when I opened the packaging for this dock and it just had thumbsticks on it, which is a nice little touch. After using them for a while, I gotta say they do feel pretty great. As for the dock itself, even though it is a plastic material on this one, I know there's aluminum ones and things like that, I still feel like the build quality and durability on this one feels pretty sturdy, and the cable itself also feels sturdy. It doesn't feel flimsy or cheap, and the top of the cable where it actually plugs in from actually feels stronger than a lot of other docks that I've tried as well. Now let's talk about the ports on this dock. You get 3 USB-A 3.0 ports, an HDMI 2.0 that supports up to 4K 60 Hz, and a Ethernet port that supports up to 1000 megabytes per second, and you got your USB-C PD 3.0 so that you can plug in your charger. It's also worth noting that the USB-C port supports up to 100 watts of fast charging speed. Let's go ahead and put my Steam Deck on this dock, and let's try it out with a case. They are claiming that it will fit with most covers and cases, so let's find out. Here's the fit without a case or cover. Fits pretty nicely on there. Alright, here it is when it's actually plugged in and standing on the dock itself. So without a case, fits perfectly fine. Alright, so I went ahead and threw on this kind of bulky kickstand case, and although I don't expect it to completely fit with the kickstand on, we're going to try it and see just how much room there is. This is a good example because a lot of cases are probably not this thick on the bottom where it's going to sit on the dock. So here's the bottom, and let's put this on there. Even with the kickstand actually in the way, we still managed to fit this in an upright position. It is leaning a little bit forward, but it's probably not going to go anywhere if it's just standing on your desk. With the kickstand somewhat out of the way, it actually fits a whole lot better, and it still manages to lean back. So I think this was a pretty good, solid test for a bulky case. I think it's going to fit in there and not go anywhere, even if it is standing in a more upright position or even slightly forward. Without a case is the best fit, but if you don't want to take your case off, you can still place it in here. So that is pretty great, and most docks don't allow you to do that. So shout out Syntech. I'm going to go ahead and say that the greatest benefit of having this all-around port kind of design is that your cables aren't going to run into each other as much. That's pretty cool. Once you have your HDMI port plugged into your monitor and to the back of the Steam Deck, and the USB-C port plugged into the top, you should get an image right away. Whether you're using Windows or SteamOS, it doesn't matter. Just switch over to the HDMI input on your display and you should get an image right away. Whatever you're seeing on my Steam Deck screen is what you're going to see on the monitor, but I can actually also go ahead and use my monitor as a second display if I wanted. I went ahead and extended my display to use the monitor as a second screen so that we can see just how far we can take the capabilities of the dock, because if I just mirror, it's going to do 60 FPS max with the 800p amplified onto the monitor, but using it as a second display, we can actually make the resolution higher and we can make the refresh rate higher. So let's go ahead and go to advanced settings here on Windows, advanced display settings, and right now it says we can go up to 1920 by 1080 at 144 Hz. It also gives you the option to change that You got all these different options. That means the dock and the HDMI port allow us to go up to 144 Hz on this monitor, which is amazing. Now the dock does advertise 4K 60 Hz, but I don't think I saw anything on there about 120 Hz or higher. But now testing this with Windows and my Steam Deck and the setup that I have going on here, it's safe to say that this dock supports 1080p up to 144 Hz. And not every game is going to be obviously supported in 144 Hz, but it is possible for less demanding games to go into a higher frame rate, which is awesome. I went ahead and plugged in my mouse as well as my keyboard into the dock and opened up Fortnite just so that you guys can see that this thing is obviously usable, playable, it works really well. And since I'm using my monitor as a second screen, we also have the option to move the game around from screen to screen. So if I put it over here to the left, it's going to go back to the Steam Deck screen over here, and then if I want to move anything back to the monitor, I can. And the benefit, like I showed earlier, of using the monitor as a second screen rather than mirroring it is that you don't get the black borders on the sides of the screen, and you have the option to go above 60 FPS. Now in this game, we're not going to go above 60 FPS, but in any other game, an indie game or something like that, you will probably go above 60 FPS. And we can minimize this, make it bigger. Let's go ahead and hit play. Actually, I'll make this private so we load faster. Window full screen, apply, and that way we don't have the Windows taskbar at the bottom. Now, as far as image quality goes, this looks absolutely amazing. It looks normal, nothing weird about it. I would say it looks spot on to how it would look in any other scenario where you're not using a dock, where you're just using your HDMI and a PC or anything like that. And I've used other Steam Deck docks and this feels perfectly normal. There's also no delay in my inputs, so the USB ports or anything, nothing feels off or weird about this. I'm using a wireless mouse as well, so movement feels pretty normal. And yeah, image quality looks great. Right now we're at 60 FPS and it feels very reactive and normal. I play this game pretty much every day and nothing feels off about it right now. I'd also like to throw out there that this looks better than a lot of the earlier docks that I've tried. And there's no like static or weird lines anywhere when you're plugging this thing in or out. Let's just unplug it. It goes straight back to the Steam Deck screen, and then plugging it back in, we should wait a second. It's going to do a little bloop. Right now it took us back to my desktop PC, but now it's back. It should be here. I don't remember which HDMI I'm on. Is it 2? Let's go ahead and pick 2. I'm just guessing here. Yep. And we're back. So sometimes on certain docks you'll get like some weird static or like lines or no signal or something like that when plugging and unplugging, but this one I unplugged it in the middle of the game. It went straight back to the Steam Deck screen, and as soon as I plugged it back in, the game went back to the monitor. So that is great, and so far I'm really liking this. This is kind of the first time I'm really giving this a shot, so I'd say right now this is pretty impressive and better than some other docks out there for sure. So for those of you interested, I will leave a link in the description. Whoa, I almost fell down. And once again, thank you Syntech for sending this out and allowing me the opportunity to cover your product. And not only that, I actually genuinely like the product. It feels good, build quality feels good, design is interesting, stands out, and the most important thing, actually docking your Steam Deck feels and looks good when you're playing a game. Hopefully you guys found this enjoyable or informative. This is probably going to be my main dock moving forward now. Really like it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.